Hi my lovelies, and welcome to your deep upper body stretch. We're going to start today's class down in seated. If you haven't practiced with me before, I'm Rosie, welcome to the channel. I hope this is going to be a class that you can come back to and one that's really going to help out with any niggles that you might have. But yes, coming down towards seated, just coming into cross-legged and taking a second to really settle. So you really just want to notice all of the parts of the body that are connected down towards the floor or down towards the mat, and just take a real wiggle here. Might be that you're sitting up on a cushion, on a meditation cushion, so feeling free to come where's comfortable for you. And then when you arrive, just taking the hands onto the knees, closing down through the eyes, and taking a big breath in to start through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth, maybe taking another, inhaling through that nose, exhale out through the mouth. So just starting to become aware of that breath, just noticing it. That's all we're asking. So noticing breath and body. So again, just checking in with those parts of the body connected down towards the earth. Hands grounding down in towards the knees or maybe the thighs. And just starting off here by taking a big roll of the shoulders back. So inhale, drawing those shoulders up almost towards the ears. Exhale, rolling back. So just feeling those shoulder blades move down. And taking a few of these. So just inhale, drawing up. Exhale, big roll back, just opening out through that chest. One more, inhale, really scrunching those shoulders up. Exhale, just drawing them back down. Beautiful. And when we're ready, just dropping chin down towards chest. And starting with some half neck rolls. So inhale, just taking that right ear around to that right shoulder. Exhale, dropping back through center. Inhale, left ear up to left shoulder. So taking this at your own speed. So we exhale, dropping back down through center. So you really want to match the speed of this movement to the length of the breath. So you might be going slower than me, faster than me, remembering it's your practice. There's no rush here. Maybe you take the head all the way back. So you open through the throat chakra, Vishuddhi. If you take that circle the whole way, you might then take it the other way. It's just going in both directions. Beautiful. When the head next drops down, so chin down to chest, just inhale. We're going to start to open the eyes, just taking that gaze drishti forwards. And just taking the hands, and we're going to take them behind the back. So we're going to interlace through the fingertips, so almost like this, and then we're going to push out, but this way. So just pushing this way. I might turn around so you guys have got a bit of a better view. So exactly like this. And as we push out, just lifting up through that chest. It might be that you take the gaze up towards the sky. So just opening into that chest, into that heart space, creating space. Taking another releasing breath here, so in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then slowly releasing those hands. As we release, just drawing fingertips forwards and allowing the back to really round, dropping head down. Next, inhale, just coming back up to neutral. And this time taking that interlace forwards and then up towards the sky. So almost like you're stretching first thing in the morning, really lifting up through the crown of the head. And then from here, just starting to make these small circles. You're going to have to start engaging here through the core. just going in one direction. And they don't have to be big. It might be that they start getting bigger. Just starting to move through that upper body. Again, going in both directions. So switching, going the other way. It might be that the upper body feels super tight. I can tell you that mine does. I'm working with a bit of a back injury. So not worrying too much about how big these circles are. Just taking them as far as feels comfortable. And eventually those hands are going to start to get tired. So releasing that interlace, taking a wiggle, taking a shake through the wrists, through the hands, maybe another roll of the shoulders. And then we're going to come in to an all fours position. So just taking those knees back, taking hands down. So we want shoulders stacked above wrists, hips stacked above the knees. From here, just starting by seeing if you can find a nice neutral position. So just moving ever so subtly through the spine, through the back. And just seeing if you can find that spot that feels like neutral, and then taking that gaze drishti forwards. And then from here, just going to move through some gentle cat-cow. So as we inhale, we're going to really start to drop the belly and lift through the chest, pushing down through the hands, gaze forwards. As we exhale, rounding through that back again, pushing down through the hands, allowing the head to drop. So just taking two more of these and taking them a little bit slower. We're inhaling up, exhaling round, really noticing how the body feels here. So inhale, drawing up. Exhale, rounding, dropping head. Next, inhale, coming back towards neutral. We're going to tuck under the toes, lift up the hips and draw them up and back, coming into a downward facing dog. So first one of the class, maybe first one of the day. Taking any pedaling out through the feet, any stretching that you might need. And then ever so slowly, when you're ready, just starting to tiptoe the toes in towards the hands. The knees are going to start to bend. Eventually we'll lift those hands off. We're just coming into a forward fold. So Uttanasana here, just take a second. Take a generous bend through the knees. Take hands to the elbows. Allow the head to drop. Let's take a second here. Maybe finding a sway. And then next, inhale that we find, slowly rising up. Draw the hands up as well towards the sky, Anjali Mudra, palms together. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. The next time we inhale, draw those arms up again. This time, just taking hold of the left wrist with the right hand, taking a side stretch over towards the right. So nice long line of energy opening through the left side of the body, all the way from the fingertips down through the hand, through the arm, through the shoulder, side body, torso, and down into the leg. Inhale, coming back up through center, switching over the hands, and then taking that stretch over to the right. Ignore me, over to the left, opening through the right side body. Inhale, drawing back up. Exhale, softening through those knees. Forward fold. Inhale, we come up halfway, hands to shins. Ardha Uttanasana, gaze forwards. Exhale, we place those hands down at the top of the mat, stepping or jumping feet back, high plank. And then we come down either through the knees and chest or through our chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale, tuck under the toes, upward facing dog. Or your baby cobra, your choice. Exhale, tuck under the toes, drawing the hips back. Downward facing dog. Again, we're still early in that practice. So take a pedal out through the feet. Next, inhale that we find. We draw that right leg up towards the sky. We can take a nice open hip here. So you might bend through that right knee, open, find that rotation, but keeping the hands and shoulders where they are if you can. Taking an extra breath here. Inhale. As we exhale, drawing that right knee forward towards the right wrist. I'm going to drop it down, untuck the back toes, and we're coming into an active pigeon here. So it might be that this feels super intense to have the chest kind of lifted, and being down here can be easier. So just finding a spot that's comfortable. It might be that you take a pillow underneath the right hip to give you a little bit of lift, but we're going to take a pause in this active pigeon. So we're keeping those fingertips down on the mats. We're just lifting up through that chest. So really staying with that breath here. Now, option for this active pigeon, only if this feels comfortable. So if you're someone who's working with quite an open back, this can be a really beautiful deep stretch. If not, we're going to stay here or take the hands down, feeling free to come in to our normal pigeon with the head down on the mat. If you feel like the deeper stretch, it feels something that's comfortable, you can take those hands behind you. Again, find that interlace through the fingers and lift up through that chest, taking the gaze up towards the sky. So again, this is a super deep stretch. So just checking in with how it feels beforehand. Taking one more inhale. So we exhale, gently releasing those fingertips so we don't want any pinging. Taking them back down in front and then coming into your pigeon. So taking hands down towards the mat, taking the head down as well. And getting comfortable here. So you might find a pillow to prop underneath the head. Just checking in, noticing how this feels through the glutes. Allowing the body a moment of rest, a moment of pause. Next inhale that we find lifting up. And we're going to kind of swivel ourselves round. So the right leg kind of staying where it is. We're going to turn towards the left and take a bend of the left leg. So you're kind of coming in to both of the legs bent. You kind of got this kind of shape. So the knees are kind of in line with each other. And from here, we're then going to take the right hand and we're going to take it towards the right side. Take the left hand towards the left knee. And as we inhale, we're just going to lift up through the chest. Exhale, just twisting that body ever so gently towards the right. Again, this is quite a deep stretch. So just assessing how that feels. Taking one more inhale. Exhale, releasing those hands. Taking everything back round to the front. And then we're going to swivel around. So we're coming to face the backs of our mats. And coming back into that all fours position. And then tucking the toes, lifting up through the hips, coming into that downward facing dog. Again, taking anything that feels nourishing here. So it might be that nourishing is just stillness. That's the case. Just allow yourself to be still. If the body's calling for movement, answer. So just listening to what that body's asking for. And then when we're ready again, gently just tiptoeing those feet towards the hands. You're going to take a big bend through the knees. Hands to opposite elbows. Take a couple of seconds, a couple of sways here in our forward fold. And then eventually we inhale, rising up. Palms coming together, gazing up towards the hands. Exhale, hands come down, Anjali Mudra through heart center. From here, next inhale, sweeping those arms up again. Taking the right hand around the left wrist, stretching over towards the right hand side. Nice opening through the left side of the body. Inhale, we draw up, switching over the hands and then taking that stretch over towards the left, opening through the right side. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, cascading the body down, soft bend through the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, gaze forwards. Exhale, hands come down, stepping the feet back, coming through your vinyasa, knees and chest, or your chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck under toes, downward facing dog. Again, pedal out through the feet. Take what you need. Next, inhale. This time we sweep the left leg up behind us. Taking a nice open hip variation, so taking a bend through that left knee. Allowing the hip to rotate out, but seeing if you can keep the shoulders, hands where they are. Taking a big inhale here. Exhale, left knee comes towards the left wrist. Coming into that pigeon, untucking the toes. So now again, we're going to take that active pigeon variation. Taking fingertips down towards the mat, lifting up through the chest, taking that gaze forwards. If this already feels like it's too much, just coming down into our normal pigeon, taking a little bit of extra time here. It's your choice. If you wish and it feels super comfortable, just taking those hands behind the back, finding the interlace, lifting up through the chest, taking the gaze towards the sky. Just taking one more breath here, inhaling. Exhale, no popping of anything, just taking it super slowly as you come out. Taking hands down and then coming into our pigeon. So resting the forehead maybe on the hands. Maybe you've got a block that you could rest on to pop the head on, maybe a pillow. Whichever feels comfortable. And again, just noticing sensation through the quads, through the glutes. Always just checking in with where you're feeling each of these poses. Might be a time to also check in with the breath. How is the breath feeling? Next, inhale, gently peeling that head up, removing any props. And this time we're going to swivel over towards the right. So taking a nice bend through that right leg, taking the foot behind you. Again, swiveling so those knees are kind of in line. And then from here, taking the left hand towards the left hand side of the mat. Taking the right hand towards the left knee. We're going to inhale, draw that chest up. Exhale, find that twist. Just staying with that breath. Inhale to find that length. Exhale. Releasing slowly. Coming back towards that front, back towards that center. And then taking both of the hands towards the front of the mat. So we're coming back the way we came. Back into that all fours position. And then from here, just walking hands forwards, dropping the chest down towards the mat. Maybe the forehead comes down into Anahatasana. So open heart pose. If you want to deepen here, option to take that chin onto the mat. Taking that gaze forwards. But really just feeling the opening here. Breathing into the chest. So sending that prana, that energy into an open heart space. Just one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, gently walk fingertips back towards you. So you're allowing the hips to rock back, coming into a child's pose. And with this child's pose, taking the forehead down. We're again just going to take those hands behind us. So you might want to shimmy the knees open a little so you're coming into a wide leg child's pose. And then taking the hands behind you again, finding that interlace. And then just seeing how far you can drop those arms kind of towards the head. You can be up on the chin here or on the forehead. So just opening through that shoulder space. So we inhale, draw those arms up. As we exhale, keeping the interlace together, just drawing the hands down. So inhale, lifting up. Exhale, draw down. One more here. Inhale up. Exhale down. And as the arms come down this time, lifting the torso up, lifting the body forwards. Dropping that interlace down, lifting up through the chest, taking the gaze up towards the sky. And then gently drawing the torso back to neutral, releasing that interlace in the hands. And just taking the hands onto the thighs as we arrive in kneeling. So taking a second in kneeling, just to assimilate. Taking a wiggle of the shoulders, movement through the toes, through the fingertips. Whatever feels wholesome here. Just maybe you just drop the hips from side to side. Whatever feels good. Maybe you're moving through the back, so just reaching those hands forwards, rounding. So we exhale, drawing fingertips behind us, lifting through the chest. Allowing this to be a really intuitive moment. Might be that you just sit still with the hands down. You focus on that breath, on every inhale, every exhale. But just a few seconds here, a few seconds for you, just to check in. When we're ready, eventually coming down on to the bum and just taking the feet out in front. And we're going to come into a nice rounded forward fold. So instead of a normal Paschimottanasana, where we'd be engaging through the legs, we'd flex through the feet. I just want you to take a big wiggle here through the ankles, through the toes. Maybe you move the feet a little bit wider than hip distance and allow them to fall wherever they fall after the wiggle. So we're not keeping the legs active, we're doing the opposite. And then allowing yourself to lift up through the chest, so finding that little bit of lift, but as we exhale, allowing the back to round. So there's no need to keep the back straight here. We're taking a second to chill out. You might take the hands onto the tops of the feet. You might take them either side of the legs, palms facing up, anywhere that feels comfortable. If you've got a bolster or a cushion, you might take said bolster or said cushion onto the legs and allow the body to drape over it. So we're allowing the body to really find support here. We're staying with the breath and taking a moment to let the body rest. So there's no active effort here. You might wish to scan through the body, just noticing if there's anywhere that's working super hard. We just want to let go, really allowing the body to sink down, melt into the pose. Next inhale, gently drawing up. Removing any props that you've got super slowly. And edging forwards. And then releasing down towards the mat, taking the legs out long. Coming into our Shavasana. Option today to take the hands maybe onto the belly, maybe onto the chest. So allowing those feet to just drop out to either side, taking a wiggle through the shoulders and really allowing yourself to settle down. So if you could make yourself just 10% more comfortable here, what would you do? And whatever it is, just allowing yourself that time. It might simply be lifting up the shoulders and just placing them back down. Maybe it's lifting up the hips, but allowing the body to start to be heavy. And just starting by noticing that breath. Closing down through the eyes if you haven't already. So knowing that our Shavasana is our time to rest, to reset, to restore. There's nothing to do here, there's nowhere to be. We are simply allowing ourselves to sit with stillness. So also knowing here that it's normal for the mind to get busy, for the mind to wander as soon as the body stills. So knowing that that's normal. And there's no need to worry about any distractions. They're there, just see if you can allow them to sit with you. Staying with that breath, just staying with sensation in the body. Next inhale that we find, just allowing that breath to move through the body, eventually reaching the outermost edges, fingertips, toes, taking gentle movement, and then allowing yourself to just roll over onto one side, drawing those knees up towards the chest, keeping the eyes closed, just taking a breath here, taking a releasing breath, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and keeping those eyes closed, just using hands to help you gently come back up towards seated. And when you arrive here, just taking those hands, palms facing up on the knees. So we started that class with that grounding sensation, palms down. We're finishing with those palms facing up, so we're just surrendering. Taking that last breath, so inhale, draw shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, roll them back. And the next inhale that we find, gently fluttering open the eyes. Slowly just coming back towards the room. Thank you guys so much for practicing today. I hope that was a class that you really enjoyed. It's a good one for any niggles with the shoulders or the upper body, upper back. Please subscribe to the channel. There are so many more classes that are coming over the next few weeks. Lots of meditations and different styles as well. And yeah, feel free to let me know how you got on with this one, and sending you all lots of love.